In this video, we're going to be working on stretching the front of the shin in two different ways, and then we'll be working to address the lower leg turning in at the knee as part of our programming to correcting our foot and ankle, as well as our knee, hip, and lower back. Working on connecting that chain and allowing everything to move the way that it's supposed to. We can't actually exercise those motions if we don't have them. So this video is mostly focusing on stretching and opening up motion that we have lost at the knee. Putting on your toe spacers is going to be very helpful. It always is going to help you get the most out of every exercise and really maximize your progressions. So let's put them on now. The first stretch we're going to do is with the ball of our feet together and our heels apart. You can do this sitting in a chair. It's really going to be helpful too if you put a yoga block between your thighs. This is going to keep the thighs neutral so that we can really work on isolating the front of that shin just a little bit better. Now we're going to actually try to impact the muscle that's on the top of the toes that pulls up the toes. We want to stretch that. To do that, we actually need our heels closer together. So they're probably not going to touch, especially if you have the yoga block between your thighs. You can try with and without that, see what's the better experience for you. Remember, the goal is the stretch, so whatever allows you to get into that position better. Now start with the ball of your foot and your heel together. Again, you're going to bend your knees and then press the front of the ankle down into the floor. And you're just looking to get a stretch there on the top. Mostly you're going to feel the top of the toes, top of the foot, and then into the ankle. Just work on trying to keep those heels together. That will be really helpful. If you start to cramp on the bottom of your foot, this commonly happens when you first start doing this, try not to get out of the stretch. Try to actually tighten up that cramp more and just hold the stretch. That's giving your nervous system and your brain feedback that you're safe, everything's okay, and you'll actually learn very much quicker than if you try to get out of it and stretch it out. The cramps are happening because your body isn't used to moving in these ways, and your brain doesn't like anything new, so it tightens it up thinking that something's wrong. So you know that you're in a safe place, you're not in any pain, so just keep tightening that cramp so that you can give that feedback, and all this tissue in your nervous system will learn that much faster. All right, so keep working on trying to keep those heels as close together as you can as you're pressing to open up the front of the ankle. Let's do a few expansive breaths. Take a breath in for 4. And breathe out for a count of 8. Keep trying to move into that stretch deeper if you can. Breathe in for 4. And out for 8. In for 4. And out for 8. Last one. And out. Pull those shoulders out of your ears. Okay, so now that we have that nice stretch in the front of our ankle, now work on our tibial rotation at the knee. If you want to just get a towel, if you have a smooth surface, that will be really helpful. This one's kind of thin. I just fold it in half and then a second time, and then what I'm doing is actually folding it into thirds here. So this is actually giving me a nice height off the ground and a cushion. Now we want the ankle underneath the knee, really important, and you're going to take your yoga block and I want you to put it at the end of your thigh, so not on the knee joint itself. You don't want to block that joint. We're going to work on this right side first. We are going to think about turning the whole foot to the inside. This is where keeping the ball of the foot down is really important, because if you have tightness around this knee turning in at the lower leg, your foot is going to want to lift up as you're turning in, and it kind of gives you a false feedback. You won't actually be turning any better at that knee. So we're just going to work on keeping the ball in contact and actually an even pressure through the rest of the foot. And now squeeze the yoga block and let's turn that foot to the inside. So this is our start position. I'm going to hold this for a few breaths. In this position, when you've turning the lower leg in and keeping the ball of the foot down, you will likely start to feel cramping in your foot even here. So again, we want to hold that. We want to remind our body that this is a safe space, that this is actually a motion that it should be doing. When you're first doing this, if you have a lot of tightness at the knee, it may feel like you've barely moved at all, and that's okay. If you can try to feel an experience of stretch at the knee, that would be great. And so that's where you can start to play around also with straightening out the knee a little bit more or bending it and seeing if you can find the right sweet spot where you can get the best stretch at that knee. Okay, so hopefully you've been holding this for a moment. And from here, we're going to be doing these windshield wipers, basically. We're going to be doing these lower leg rotations at the knee joint, okay? The first exercise is going to be this activation of the knee joint capsule, okay? We're going to do something called irradiating. We're going to take a breath in. As you let the breath out, think about your rib cage translating down naturally. Don't try to force anything. Pulling in your lower belly button, contract your legs so you just feel your hamstring and your glutes contract against the chair. Tighten up your arms, pull that shoulder blades to the bra line. And now from here, so you want to maximally contract the rest of your body, and then I want you to try to contract the knee capsule on this outside here, which is going to give you this relative feeling like you're trying to pull that lower leg to the outside. But if you're actually in this maximum end range, then you shouldn't move anywhere, okay? All right, so let's set, take a breath in. As you breathe out, contract everything else in your body, squeeze that block, and now get the outside of that knee joint capsule for 1, 2, 3, and relax, okay? So we're gonna do that again for the inside of the knee joint capsule. So that experience is gonna be trying to pull that lower leg to the inside further. And then we'll repeat that 2 more times, alternating, okay? Take a breath in. As you breathe out, set that contraction through the rest of your body. Now contract the inside of the knee joint for 1, 2, 3, and relax. Okay, reset. Stiffen everything else in your body as a foundation. Now try to contract the outside of the knee joint. 1, 2, 3, and relax. If you have a lot of motion, either you're having trouble just targeting that tissue or you're not really in the end range, okay? So let's take a breath in. Set inside of the knee joint capsule for 1, 2, 3, and relax. Okay, 1 more each side. Take a breath in. Set that contraction and contract the outside of the knee joint. 1, 2, 3, and relax. In the beginning, it does feel like you don't even know what that is. Just keep working at it, doing the best you can. Over time, you'll actually suddenly start feeling that tissue, and it's really cool. All right, take a breath in. Set that isometric tension throughout the rest of your body. And now contract the inside of that knee joint for 1, 2, 3, and relax. Don't move your lower leg. Don't move your foot. You want to stay in this position. From this location now, we're going to be doing these knee axial rotations of the lower leg, okay? So this is our start position. We're going to use that irradiation again. We're going to hold that isometric contraction through the rest of our body as a foundation. so that you can maximize your ability to control this motion at the knee. Don't hold your breath though, that's very important. So this is our start position. We're going to be rotating the lower leg to the outside as far as you can, and remember that isometric contraction, the rest of your body is going to help assist you as a foundation. You're going to pause slightly at that end point, and then you're going to control it back to the start position. So move slow and controlled. If you have a lot of trouble, it will be shaky in the beginning, and over time as you do this more, it will get better. So again, make sure you're trying to keep the ball of the foot touching down as best you can. We're going to take a nice deep breath in. As you let that breath out, let your rib cage naturally translate down, tighten everything else in your body. And now slow and controlled, you're going to rotate that lower leg to the outside as best you can. Go as far as you can. Okay, don't move into any sharp pinching pain. You're going to pause, then return to the inside. Keep contracting everything else so that it can be a foundation to really help you maximize what you're doing here. When you get to that furthest point in, pause, and we're going to keep repeating it. That was 1. Slow and controlled. If you don't have a yoga block, use a pillow between your knees, because if you don't have something there, your thighs are going to be pulling to the inside, and it's going to give you a false sense of what you're doing. You won't actually be targeting that lower leg at the knee. Going out for 3. Returning. Okay, let's go back for 4. Isolating that movement. This is how we make quick gains, targeting that joint capsule, learning to control that motion. We could do it once. We lose it over time when we stop using certain motions and start developing compensations. Last one. Good. Return. Should get a little easier as you're going. Opening up a little bit more motion. Okay, pause and then relax your contraction. All right, so let's move to the other side. So you set that ankle under your knee, wherever you can, to turn to the inside. Just kind of find that sweet spot where you think you'll be able to best maximize that turn of the tibia to the inside. So when you find that position, we're going to hold it to just get that stretch in the knee joint capsule and, help our nervous system to relax and help that tissue to be more responsive to the training that we're about to do. Let's take a breath in for a count of 4 and breathe out for a count of 8. Don't rush it. It's actually that long, slow breath out that stimulates your vagus nerve, your rest and digest, combats all that stress we're under all the time. Breathe in for 4 and out for 8. See, I'm moving my foot around a little bit because I'm just really trying to scan that stretch. I'm trying to really find that sweet spot where I'm going to maximize that experience at the knee there. Breathe in for 4. Out for 8. In for 4. Out for 8. Okay, so don't move out of this position. We're going to do those pails and rails again. So the first, we're going to set that isometric contractions of the rest of our body as a foundation. We'll do a 3-second maximum as safest and greatest ability. Try to contract the outside of that knee joint capsule, which will feel like turning the lower leg to the outside, but you shouldn't really move if you're at an end range. Then we'll do the inside, and we'll repeat that 2 more times, okay? And we'll reset our foundation in between, and make sure you're never holding your breath. All right, let's take a nice deep breath in. As you let the breath out, let that rib cage naturally translate down. Contract everything else in your body as best you can. Now contract the outside of that knee joint. 1, 2, 3, and relax. Relax and reset. Breath in. Contract everything. Contract the inside. Now the inside knee joint. 1, 2, 3, and relax. Okay. Breath in. Set your foundation as best you can. Safest and greatest. Contract the outside of the knee joint. 1, 2, 3, and relax. Reset. Breath in. Inside of that knee joint. 1, 2, 3, and relax. And 1 more each side. Breath in. Okay, contract everything. Now the outside of that knee joint. 1, 2, 3, and relax. Inside. Breath in. Set your safest and greatest, and now contract the inside of that knee joint. 1, 2, 3, and relax. Stay there. Don't move out of this position. Now we're going to do those axial rotations at the knee. So we're going to set that maximum foundation, that irradiation, and then we're going to work on rotating the tibia at the knee joint as far out as we can. Smooth, slow, and controlled, and come back to the start point. We'll do 5 of those, okay? Take a breath in. Set your safest and greatest irradiation. Contract everything else in your body. And now let's turn the tibia at the knee. Just do the best you can to control that motion. Good. And work on 2. Keep squeezing that block or that pillow between your knees or your Pilates ball. It helps a lot because you really want to isolate that motion. Make sure you're not holding your breath. You're trying to fix the way that your joints are moving and activating. So it takes some this very deliberate work. It is going to be hard even though you feel like you're not doing much. It's very, very important. Good. Slow and controlled. You've got this. Keep using that irradiation to support you so you can really isolate that knee joint work. Good. Last one. You can do it. Okay. Pause when you finish, then relax and let your irradiation go. Good job.